Yeah, so this was kind of a cool tournament for me. No real plan to do it until I saw that Cyborg signed up, you know. So there was not really anybody in the division that I was had my eye on, but then somebody told me that Cyborg signed up, and I thought that would be just an incredible opportunity to get a match with Cyborg, you know, given his status and the hype around a match between him and I. It's a match that I couldn't really get anywhere else. If I were to do a Who's Number One or any of these pro events, I'm never going to be able to have a match with Cyborg, given that he's 60 or 65 pounds heavier than I am. You know, he competes at ultra heavyweight. He's about 235, 240. I'm like 170, you know, so it would be a match that would almost never happen unless I entered an open at Worlds, and again, that's something that typically don't do, given that I'm focusing on the weight division of the 4 or 5 matches that I have to win middle or lightweight, you know, so. Yeah, it was really cool that I got to jump in and not only compete against him, but I got to compete against a lot of different people. I competed against 4 other people who I haven't had matches with in tournaments, you know, and they were all really big guys, so it gave me a chance to kind of feel body style similar to Cyborg. I think Cyborg was probably the smallest guy I competed against today, so in 5 matches to have Cyborg be the small guy was kind of cool, you know. I was the little guy in the open, so. Against the other opponents, I don't want to use the word that I was cruising or anything like that, but I definitely was conserving my energy. Given that they were a lot bigger, a lot more physical than I was, it was a couple opportunities where I had some deep submissions, some deep triangle chokes, guillotines, things like that. I would have had to expend a lot of energy to submit those guys. So that was something that I knew, and I knew I had 5 matches if I wanted to win the tournament today. So 5 matches against, you know, all people who have a considerable weight advantage against me is not really smart if I'm gonna, you know, blow my wad trying to finish a match early. It would be better, you know, to stay conservative, to score where I needed to score, to stay safe, to stay out of danger, and to capitalize on opportunities and win those matches. You know, that was the main goal. The main goal was to come in here and take that match with Cyborg and beat Cyborg. So yeah, those other matches just had to make sense, you know. If it was just one match, yeah, I'm gonna, you know, blow it out to submit that guy in 5 minutes, you know, just like if it was a 15-minute match. But at the same time, there's pacing involved in all different matches. You know, when there's 5 minutes, there's not a lot of time for pacing. You can't give up any stupid points. You can't give up any silly takedowns or anything like that. You have to be on top of your game and be scoring all the time. So you have to stay really on top of it and kind of come out of the gun. It's almost like a 400-meter sprint, you know, whereas a 15-minute match or a 10-minute match is more like a mile or a mile and a half. So.
Man, it was an amazing experience. You know, like for a long time I haven't fought on that kind of environment. I used to compete in events like this back in Grapplers Quest, an event that I loved competing, that built me up. So the first match I overdid it. You know, like I finished in 17 seconds. I didn't even get to warm up. I showed up to the event and just entered to fight. So I was like, man, I have to pace it down. I have to give myself a chance to warm up and all that. So little by little, you know, I started to be feeling more comfortable and playing a little bit more during my matches. First match was 17 seconds. I didn't like it, you know, because I should have paced better so I could play more on the match. Second match, I did a little bit more comfortable, but still, I did it quick. So the third match I got to pace in a different way, you know, like I let the guy stand up a couple of times, you know, like so I could go the full length, and I got him on the last, when I saw there was 10 seconds left for the match and I dropped for the submission. I believe that was a good one for a warm-up. And then fourth match, same thing, you know, I think it was like I let it go a little bit longer. I felt the level was great, you know, I saw that, you know, like everybody who I got to compete against had a good skill, you know, and I just made sure to be one step ahead of the boys. Going to have the final weight against Dante. You know, Dante is two-time world champion. Someone I've known him since, you know, since he was a purple belt. The kid's amazing, has great jiu-jitsu.
The match was very good, very competitive, I feel. Was able to get some wrestling going at the beginning of the match, able to pull guard, defended all of his pass attempts quite well. I don't think I was ever close to getting past even advantage or anything like that in another rule set. So he uses a lot of movement, and he doesn't really telegraph what he's doing too much, and he does a lot of different hand placement for somebody of his size. You know, he likes to use the hands to block the hips. He likes to run around to the north-south, and then when the high legs come over to counter, the knees come inside, then he switches to smash passing, and he can pass very well and move very well to both sides.
Was a little different for me because like 5-minute rounds usually is what I compete at. Usually my style of jiu-jitsu, I need time in order to, you know, like find, you know, the moments and find the holes. Dante again, you know, like someone super skilled.
Against some of my wrestle up attempts and some of my armbar attacks and things like that, he's really nimble, he's really well balanced and centered, he's able to square up and defend them really well, which is not something I feel against a lot of ultra heavyweights. I feel like against a lot of the bigger guys, I'm able to kind of get them outside of their center range and sweep them or expose them to submissions or expose them to back takes. And it was much harder to do that against Cyborg than any other big guy I've ever had a match with. So does he pass like a little guy? I wouldn't say he passes like a little guy because he has a lot more pressure and he can generate a lot more force, but he does have the speed of some of the smaller opponents that I've fought, and given his unique ability and his speed for his size and obviously his strength, he's a big problem when he's on top. I was able to really start to get attacks going near the end of the match, and his pace was building as well, which we're both used to longer matches, so this is just kind of, we were just blossoming, I felt like, our pace and our energy in the match. So
and you know, he closed up, and it was hard to find mistakes on the game. A guy like him, in 5 minutes I couldn't do much. We ended up on a draw, and I got the ref's decision.
You know, I believe it was a toss-up for who won. It ended in a ref's decision. It didn't go my way, so I ended up dropping the match. But it was cool, you know, given 5 minutes coming in, I thought that would be a better rule set for me to take a win over him, but after 5 minutes, I think that 10 minutes would be better for me, and I'm sure he feels the same way too, because we were both just getting going at the end of that match.
But again, much respect for Dante. You know, he's a two-time world champion, you know, for a reason. And again, man, I just think that was a great experience to come here. Everybody was super welcome at the event.
Today I was happy with the fact that I was able to take those matches with those bigger opponents who I'd never had matches with before, and I was able to capitalize and score against all of them, and stayed in control of every single match. I think even in the finals I was in control. I wasn't getting outworked, I wasn't getting outpaced, I was in control. So for 25 minutes today I felt like I was in control.